Hello and welcome to this video. On this video, I'm going to be going through the 10 worst music YouTubers. Now, I think it's been established, through various means that I am perhaps, and I know I'm quite a modest man, so I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I am possibly the best music YouTuber on the internet. Who's better than me? If you've got anybody you can suggest I should have a look at, stick it in the comments below. And I'm not trying to be big-headed. I just think it's a statement of absolute fact, objective. I might not have the most subscribers. I might not have the subscribers that some of these people on the list have, but it doesn't change the fact, quality isn't about quantity. Everybody knows this. So I thought it was only right that just to establish my presence here in the YouTube community, that I should go through who is definitely the 10 worst and explain where they're going wrong, so that when they watch this, they could use it to perhaps make their channel a bit better, to learn from the master. So, shall we just get straight in? Okay, right. So at number 10. And I can be a little bit politically incorrect being a man of a certain age. I stumble into these things and I keep forgetting that we must make sure that we represent all the different identity categories. And one category of people that I tend to overlook are ladies. I don't know how many ladies have been on my channel. I think it's 3 or something like that. And I don't know. Right since I was a kid, I've always been quite suspicious of ladies. I mean, they're very nice and everything, and they mean well. They do mean well, and of course, they've got loads of talents, loads of skills, and we should learn to appreciate them, us men, and realise that they are equal to men. They're ladies are equal to men. Of course, they are. There's no argument there. So I thought I should put a lady on here to represent music YouTubers, but not too high, and not say anything too horrible about it, which I won't. So, another thing, as I get into this list, I have always had nicknames for all the music YouTubers, and I use them every day. And when I'm in normal conversation, anyone knows me will know that I will just, I will refer to them as their nickname. So I'm going to introduce you to these nicknames here, which might give you an idea of where their faults lie, really. So should we just get straight on? I'm ready to go now. So this is who I've got at number 10. Yes, Mary Spender, or as I like to call her, Mary Hey Big Spender. Now, Mary is a very good YouTuber, very good. She started off, telling people about guitars, reviewing them, and then she got a following, and then, she's a bit of a singer-songwriter, so she's pushing her stuff on her YouTube channel, and she sort of utilised the struggles of an aspiring songwriter. She sort of covers those on her channel. That's part of the thing now. And I don't get it, to be honest. And there's a couple of reasons why. The first thing is I wonder how much Mary has actually studied quantum physics. Because there's a well-known theory in quantum physics that when you look at something, right, just by looking at it, you change it. Okay? So there's one thing being an aspiring, songwriter, but it's another thing being an aspiring songwriter who also has an absolutely massive YouTube channel, right? Where she can go, oh, I'm doing this tomorrow, we're going to be putting out a single. And of course, by doing that, everyone knows she's going to be putting out a single, and I don't know. Now, the thing is, the other problem you have when you're an aspiring songwriter, which nobody ever wants to sell you, is it costs money to be one. It really does, what with travelling and buying equipment and makeup and, musical instruments, recording time, hiring musicians, then we go out on tour. You've got like all your bloody expenses in the hotels and all that. And I mean, Mary went out on tour, but, you know, being a lady, I think she expected the more finer things in life, you know. So she all bought herself proper hotels and all that type of stuff. When I first started, I used to sleep in a van with the lads. We would just sleep in the van. Like that. That was what we would do. We wouldn't have any hotels. I mean, you'd sleep in the van. You know. You'd have to stop at a petrol station to have a wash. All that bit. But, you know, even though she went out and spent loads of money on her tour, she still created a course which explained how you go on tour. Now, one of the things I've noticed about Mary is that she's got a much more sultry approach to me. I have tried it. I'm going to try it now, so see what you think. Now, first of all, to do the Mary Spender approach, you have to just, if I can just get into here and just, it's got to be dark, you see, like that. Probably darker than that, hasn't it? Even dark, there we go. And then you have to get really close to your microphone like this. Hello, my name is Andy Edwards, and being a old man doing music YouTubing can be really difficult, especially if you want to stop in nice hotels and not sleep with a bunch of lads in the back of a van. It's that sort of approach. I'm going to have to put the lighting back up. Sorry about this, everybody. Let's just get this lighting back up. There we go. Is that better? So she got that approach. But when she delivers her YouTube monologues, which she's absolutely brilliant at, and she's a very, very competent YouTuber. With that, I mean, I was going to say she's way better than me, but obviously in terms of the amount of subscribers she's got, but she's sat in, is that her living room she's sat in? Because if that's her living room, it's vast, it's huge. But I don't think it is a living room. I think it's a room she's just put aside for YouTubing. So this is where she gets the nickname Big Spender. You know, now if you want to know where that comes from, there's a musical. Is it Sweet Charity? Bam, bam, ba-da-da-da. Bam, bam, ba-da-da-da. The minute you walked in the joint, I could see you were a man of distinction, a real big spender, good looking and so refined. Now, Mary, if you're watching, I'm not called Spender, I'm called Edwards, and yet I have just delivered for you, through my genius, a YouTube video where I got to sing Hey Big Spender. Why haven't you done that? Because you are a big spender and your surname's Spender. Right, shall we move on? That's basically what I'm going to be doing on this video, okay? So she's done, Mary Spender. Who have I got number 9? Right, another huge YouTuber. I've got... sorry, I'm supposed to put the picture up so you have the surprise of seeing the picture. Sorry, I forgot my plan. This. Let's get back in. So, number 9, I've got... Yes, Adam Neely, although what I call him, Adam Neely, but not quite. Now, he's like a little bit like, you know, an American version of Mary Spender. What was I going to call her then? I think I was trying, my subconscious is trying to bring a new nickname for her. I should have gone with that then. So Adam Neely, he's another posh boy, isn't it? You can tell that. He's a posh boy. He's gone to New York, gone into Berkeley, worked really hard. Now, when I was a teacher, and I was teaching in colleges, I had loads of different students. Adam and Mary are definitely like a swotty student, one of the nerdy swotty students. And these are the sort of students, if you put a thing on the wall and you gave gold stickers out when they did something good, most rock and roll type of kids hate that. They're all like that, except for the odd one or two, and they absolutely love it. And I go, very good, Mary. That was a very good essay, well researched. You put a lot of work into it. I found it absolutely fascinating. Distinction star, and I will give you a gold star. And they would sit there going, I got a gold star. What do I get? What do I get when I get all the gold stars and I win? Well, I don't know. I might get you a Kit Kat or something like that. If you want to know what that is in America, that's a candy bar, as you would say. So Adam Neely, Or as I call him, Adam Neely, but not quite. He's a nice chap. And his videos are incredible. I mean, if I was marking one of his videos, it really would be top marks. All the research is there. But as you can see by the thumbnail, the way I've portrayed him is a little bit like a young Obi-Wan Kenobi, because I think that's what he wants to be. He wants to be like the Jedi Knight of music YouTubing. He wants to come out, and I've noticed when he first started, he was just blowing everyone away with complex things. That's all he did. You know, it would be like having large private parts and just showing them off to everybody. You know, he'd come on and go, I've done the most complex track in the world, or what would be the worst time signature in the world, or what's the hardest chord in the world. He's very much like that, you know. Ooh, this is the biggest and the best. Then suddenly he takes on this sort of almost like communist approach, and he's bringing all the Marxism in and all that bit, and talking about all these things, and you shouldn't be doing that, and telling everybody what to do, which I've got no problem with. If he wants to do that, it's up to him. But recently, I've noticed, right, that he's bringing Plato into it. Adam, you don't need to bring Plato into it. His last video, he had this woman there, right, and she got a foreign accent, so she didn't say Plato. I think she said it in a funny way, like Plato or something. Plato, if you want to know, is Greek for plates. You can find any word in English, if you just put an O on the end, becomes the Greek version of it, I do believe. But of course, Adam would know this because he's like a Jedi Knight full of wisdom, and he goes off and sees this lady, and then she reports back on what quality is from a perfect point of view. Now here, I'm being very facetious, but I actually think here, this is an actual problem, is that he has decided that he is right by quoting Plato all the time. Now that's where totalitarianism lies. That's all I'm going to say. This is supposed to be a joke, but I got quite serious with Adam and Mary, and there might be veiled criticisms in there, but of course I don't know them. And it could be that I'm just motivated by a desire to be in their club, because they'd seem to ignore me. They probably don't even know who I am. Somebody says this Andy Edwards has done a video about you being critical. They go, who is Andy Edwards? You know, and all that type of thing. That's what they'd be acting like. They wouldn't be going, oh no, not Andy Edwards. They probably don't know who I am. And so they're a bit like the cool kids at school. You know, you got the one girl, and you've got the clever, because Adam Neely he could be James Bond, couldn't he? He's a handsome chap. He's young. He lives in New York. He plays all the jazz. He knows everything. And maybe I just want to be in with the cool kids, you know, and maybe they don't want to be in with me. And that's what it is with those two. But from now on, I've had contact, or I was going to say friends, but I won't be after this video. But I was friends with everybody I'm about to cover now. And so they're going to have to see what I really think of them. And that's the way it is. So at number 8, I have a good mate of mine. I've chatted to him quite a lot. I hope he's watching this, because he now will get... I mean, this is a bit confessional. So this is who I've got number 8. Yes, Martin Miller, or as I call him, Martin Driller Killer Miller. Now, you might want to know why I call him Driller Killer Miller, and you might think it's because he, unbeknownst to everybody else, it's actually a serial killer that goes around murdering people and being quite, evil really. And anybody who's watched Martin on his channel will see that undercurrent of evil bubbling away, but it's not an undercurrent of evil. No. I'll tell you something. It's something that you can't get across on YouTube, because I was originally going to call him Martin Windy Miller. Now, I didn't, because I knew that more than half the world, I would say 98% of the world, wouldn't know who Windy Miller is. But if you are sort of my age and British, you know exactly who Windy Miller is. He's a very famous character etched into your childhood. He was a character that was on Trumpton and Camberwick Green and Chigley. Remember those 3? perhaps the 3 greatest children's TV shows, and it was like that. It was like some sort of Middle Earth for us kids, because there's these 3 shows, but they crossed over conceptually, and one of the characters was he seemed a bit wild to me, and it was Windy Miller. Now, he owned a windmill. Now, of course, I am old, but, you know, nobody owned a windmill when I was a child. But in this thing, they did, Windy Miller. Now, I call Martin Windy Miller because I've met him in the flesh. And he does have terrible flatulence. Brilliant guitarist he may be. He can play anything, can't he, Martin? He can play anything. He can play the jazz, he can play the metal, he can play like a blues guitarist, he can play classical stuff, you know. He can bloody play. He's a ridiculous guitarist. I'm not jealous of him at all. He's unbelievable. Right, and not only that, is he then have a go at singing, and he's a really brilliant singer. I'm not jealous at all, you know, and so I wouldn't make something like this up just to, you know, get my own back on someone who's might be a better musician than me. I don't know, but anyway, old Martin Windy Miller. When I met him, continually. He's, as we say, the United Kingdom, let it off. He's always let it off, old Martin is, and they're not noisy ones. No, they're what we would have called back when I was watching Chigley, silent but deadly. He's always releasing silent but deadly, and this has become a big issue. He's trying to get some of the big stars on his channel, you know, but of course, you know, they don't want to turn up because it's very hard, you know, to outplay Martin when you're trying to pull out your best licks while breathing in his internal gases. That's Martin done. Right, let's move on. Who have I got even worse than Martin? At number 7, I've got this fellow. Yeah, that bloke. You know him? Jim Easy Does It Newstead. Right? Now, I'm going to recreate one of Jim's videos, because the thing is with Jim is, the other day he came out, and knowing who the boss is around here in terms of music YouTubing, he decided to do a very nice video about me, and he came on and said, Andy's really got me thinking, and I felt like going, yeah, of course I have, you know, because the ideas I say are worth thinking about, right? But your ideas, Jim, sorry, I appreciate his new facial hair. He's grown this incredible moustache. It's like he's got the bloody... He's got this... He looks like something out of them 3 Musketeers now. But this is basically what he does, if I can recreate it. Now, to recreate it, we're going to grab my headphones. Now, I'll unplug them. Oh, no, you can't with this. I'm going to use my trusty old... what the hell's are these? DT100s, they said Isa, DT100s, Bayer Dynamic, they're the ones. He hasn't got some of these. He's got some AKG things, which I looked the price up. They're not ridiculously expensive, but they're a decent set of headphones. But they do look really cool. Whereas mine look like something that somebody would have worn in the Cold War when they were watching radar and trying to find out what the Russians were doing. So this is what Jim does. This is a Jim Newstead. If you haven't seen one, it's like this. Hi, it's Jim Newstead here. I'm going to have a listen to a record now. So I haven't listened to this before, or I have listened to it before, or whatever it is. I don't know, because probably haven't listened to it before, so I don't need to do any research or know anything about it. I just need to put it on and react. So let's do that, shall we? Ooh, nice, yeah. Interesting bit of music going on there, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I like it, yeah, I like it, yeah. It reminds me of early Brotherhood of Man. Ooh, nice, yeah. Nice. Now, of course, he's got the headphones, he's got the chair. I don't know where he's delivering his videos from, but it's like some platonic YouTuber space. He's got some vinyl records behind him, but he's got bloody LED lights in it and all that type of stuff. And he's got like bloody proper titles going on, like bloody Marvel Comics. And it's God, this is the thing, you see. You probably think there's Andy sat in his big studio, as I am. This great big studio here, right? But I've had to work to get to this point. I have to pay loads of money on it. It makes me poor. That's why I have to keep coming on and telling everyone to join Patreon and put some money in the YouTube. Every month, when my channel went down, I was bloody panicking because I thought I was going to lose this place. That was the biggest worry. Right, I paid to be here. Right, when I started, I was back in a bloody garage with spiders and the cold and everything. Not Jim, there he is, bloody D'Artagnan, AKG's, a bloody Star Wars going on in his record collection in the background. So it's bloody easy being just listening to records and reacting to them. The only reason I don't do it is because you lose the bloody monetisation, but I'm sure Jim doesn't care about that. Right, because they're all bloody rich. I reckon every single one that I have covered is rich. Richer than me. They were rich before they started. Well, rich compared to me. Right. Let's move on, shall we, to number 6. At number 6, I've got this fine young man. Yes, now Danny is another amazing guitarist like Martin Miller. He's one of the best around. He's got a band called Marvin. I became a fan of Marvin. I reached out. He came on my channel. He seemed like a nice chap. He did tell me on his first interview some rather unsavoury stories about Alan Holdsworth. And he told me a story about Alan Holdsworth and an Australian lady. I'm not going to repeat it here. You'll have to go and sort that out. And when he told that story, I thought, hey, he's a cheeky chappy. He don't care what he says, does he? No, not at all. Then he gets his YouTube going. He starts off, it's a bit boring. And I can tell he's watching me. And he goes, oh, Andy's being all bloody, controversial. I'm going to be controversial. And now he's cornered the market in bloody being controversial. And I've got to be honest, it gets on my nerves. And then suddenly his subscribers, it's like the bloody tortoise and the hare. I was way in front of it in terms of subscribers. As soon as he starts getting nasty about bloody jazz musicians and Berkeley and all that bit, I'd already done all that. It had already been done by me. But now he comes in, starts doing that, and he's bloody racing ahead. He went ahead of me on the old subscribers. Oh, bloody cheeky monkey. And then if I hadn't been on Rick Beato, thank God for that, I got the lift of Rick Beato, and now I'm in front of him, but God knows what he's going to do next. They start right, these YouTubers that come on and say all these nasty things about people and criticise everything just to get their views. I think it's clickbaity and I don't think people should do it. It's really wrong. I mean, where's people's principles? Why can't they be nice? Why can't they be nice like the man I have at, a number 5, who is this fella?
Ooh. 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 Ooh.
Right, so we have now got, from Now Spinning Magazine, Phil Aston, and on and on and on. Right, there used to be an advert in the old days called when they would buy for a company called Ariston. I've nicked it off that, and they used to go Ariston and on and on. Now, I'm not saying he goes on and on and on. It's not that really that I find so unpleasant about him. What I find unpleasant about Phil is there's absolutely nothing unpleasant about him. He has managed to build a channel, get a fan base, and have a loyal following just by doing quality YouTubing without any malice or nastiness. I had him on my channel once, and I tried my best to get him to say something nasty. You can't get him to say something nasty. It's like he's in a bloody meditative, nice state. I don't understand it at all. Now, I went away and I thought about this, and then I thought, well, if you look at him, he is a man of a certain age, and he did play in a band in the old days that I remember very well, which had a very, very ugly, he's dead now, so I shouldn't malign the dead. Well, I've done it before. They had a very, very ugly lead singer, and they made an album that had perhaps one of the ugliest album covers of all time. Yeah, that's Phil who did this thing here. That one there. He was in that band. But then he's obviously got into his music, and he's now got this channel. He's always being nice. And I watched him one day and I thought, right, I looked at his hair and it's beautiful. It's very coiffured. and he's got both ears pierced. I thought that's quite effeminate in a way for Phil. And he's got a wife, I think, and she's a classical musician, and she pops on now. So, I think that I'm not saying he's like this now. So if he's watching this, or even if worse, his wife's watching this, I don't want her to think I'm saying anything. But he just feels like he's a bit too smooth for my liking. You know what I mean? He's a bit too suave. And it's like, well, I don't know. I just wonder. I wonder if I think when it comes to Phil, a lady of a certain age would fall at his feet. You know what I mean? There's a lot of charm there. And then he's got the old Noel Edmonds going on, hasn't he? And he's got the two piercings, looking a bit like I know I'm an older man, but I'm still, I'm still a bit, it's like, he's like that, isn't he? And then suddenly his niceness makes sense because he doesn't want to be upsetting people. I mean, I started my video on here by, I tried my best to get in with the ladies by putting a lady on and saying how we should be nice and think they're equal to men. And make them think that we all think that. I started off like that, didn't I? But, he doesn't want to upset anybody, does he? Now, right. I am now going to recreate the favourite moment of mine, right? And this is this is also easy YouTubing. It's what I call easy YouTubing, right? I'm about to do it now. This is what he does. He opens things, and I'm now going to do that for you.
As you can see, I have got here the pack of 4 traditional light bulbs, and as you can see, they're a screw mount. I haven't gone for the bayonet mount. Traditional 350 lumen screw cap, 40 watts. Now, I haven't used any of these light bulbs. When you watch the video, I will have used the light bulb extensively and will be able to tell you, all about it. But I thought it'd be interesting to just show you what you get. So obviously, in this package, we've got 4. We've got 4. So I'll just take one out. Now this plastic outer packaging, it does come with a bit of chip paper that got stuck to it in my shopping bag. So I will be saving that. Don't worry, I will save that. So we'll just open this up now. This is quite tricky. I would have thought the manufacturers would take a leaf out of Marillion's book and use plastic, but an older one. And then here we have, I didn't expect that. You see, that's a bonus there because we've got another piece of this actually looks more, I thought originally it was toilet roll, but it might be cheap toilet paper. This piece of plastic, of course, I will keep, and I will put that under my pillow in a safe place. Now, we've obviously got 4 light bulbs here, and here I will now show you what we've got here. It's a standard cardboard light bulb fitting. It can be opened at either end. I find it best to open it from the top. Just put your thumb in like that, open that up the flap like that, and open it out. There, you get to see the top of the light bulb. And if I open this light bulb, you can see there we have it. Now, this is just my opinion. I'm sure you have your own opinion, and you're entitled to your own opinion, and I will support you in every way I can for having this opinion. That's a good opinion. And so whatever your religion is, or creed, or race, if you please don't be offended when I offer my opinion on this light bulb. But I think it's quite a good light bulb.
So, that's how he does it. I always have my little in-jokes that you don't know about. So, the in-joke with this one is I actually unwrap that light bulb on top of this mighty Led Zeppelin Presents box set. This is worth a bomb. And I could have bloody opened this and done the same thing and gone, oh, look what's in here, and done all that. But I thought, no, I'll just use it as a table. Oh, I'm even explaining the in-jokes on this one now. Because I've got in-jokes, I have in-jokes, you see. Right, shall we move on then? So, we're getting to the top 4 now. 4 real culprits. Crimes against YouTube in here. This bloke should really be number 1, but, I've had to take into account the fact that his channel's not very successful, really, so I felt I'd like to take pity on him. So, I have to say, he's probably, of all the people on this list, he's perhaps got the least subscribers, poor fellow. And he tries so hard, doesn't he? So please, go and subscribe. Please, please. Put us all out of our misery. Of course, it's my nemesis, the evil and calculatingly... I'll do that again. The evil and I can't come up with words for this bloke. It's this one. Yes, of course. Scott, dude looks like a lady. Now, apparently, you don't pronounce his surname lady. Yeah, sure. Like that bloody bouquet woman in that Keeping Up Appearances. It's lady. Of course it's lady. Now, what have I got against Scott? Well, bloody everything, really. He's off his head. It's like he comes on and it's like... He wears you out with all his,
Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I'm Scott. You're in the Pride Corner.
What's his catchphrase? He's got a bloody catchphrase. He's worse than Bruce Forsyth, this chap. What's his catchphrase? I can't even remember them now. Either I was driving here in the car, I tried to remember them. And he does that snap. I mean, he's off his head, basically. Now, I have to say this, right? And I don't like saying it because I know what Scott's like. He'll take everything I say bad about him on the chin. I haven't even started yet. But that one nugget I give him, he'll be chuffed. You watch it in his little chest, it will be full of pride when I say that he's probably the most knowledgeable bloke on prog on YouTube. I mean, he is on YouTube. He's the most knowledgeable man on prog. I've never known anything like it. He knows bloody everything, every single band going. Brazil. He's pushing some Brazilian prog band called Boo Boo or something like that at the moment. I bloody had a list of the album, it's terrible. But he loves it all, absolutely. He knows everything. He knows everything about prog, right? And he delivers it in a very excited... I can't remember. I cannot remember. See, this is the trouble, Scott. You see, you've tried to drill this into our heads. Does he say hello? No, he doesn't. There's something about respect and love, doesn't he? Respect and love, respect and love. He's all like that, and he's got this bloody little woolly hat on, and I'm not doing this bit very well because I'm stumbling on all the terrible things that go. So, right, let's come on, get yourself organised and just try and explain it to the people who don't know who he is. Scott, lady, dude looks like a lady, does not look like a lady. He looks like a hobo. He looks like he should be on a train travelling, and try not to get, buggered by other hobos. He's like that. That's what he looks like, except for his teeth. He's got the teeth of right. You don't even know what I'm laughing at. Right. He's got the teeth. I was going to say he's got the teeth of a male air hostess. Right? Because I'm old, I call them air hostesses. And then as I went to say that, I realised you don't call them air hostesses. You call them flight attendants, don't you? But I couldn't pull that out of the ether because to me, they're called an air hostess, right? And air hostess sounds like they're going to do more than just serve you a pillow and, some packaged food, doesn't it? That makes them sound a bit more, excited in a way, I suppose. Anyway, so I'm just going to do that bit again. So he looks like a hobo except for his teeth. His teeth look like they belong to a male air hostess. Oh, bloody hell. This is, Scott, you just put me off. Let's try it one more time. Come on, you can deliver this joke. This is why I don't do comedy. You know, we'll come to that in a minute. All right. Yeah, Scott lady, he doesn't look like a lady. He looks like a hobo. Right, he should be on a train, you know, making sure he doesn't get bummed by another hobo and all that bit, blah, blah, blah. Oh, God, I just said bummed. I think, can you say that on bloody YouTube? This is going wrong. Oh, bloody hell. Let's try it again. Don't say bummed. Of course, in America, they call what we call tramps or hobos. They also call them bummed. So the American audience probably just think that it's like he's going to get made into more of a hobo, which is what I meant when I said it. I hadn't any other meaning in my mind at all. Scott lady does not look like a lady. He looks like a hobo, except for his teeth, which look like they belong to a male flight attendant. Thank you. Yes, I know, comedy genius, but I'm not a bloody comedian. I'm a musician. We'll come to that in a bit. Right, anyway, Scott, you may not know, right? If you looked at the thumbnail, I made him look like a lady, which is quite fine. If you want to look like a lady, there's nothing wrong with that. But I did place him in prison because he apparently did spend some time inside. I'm glad I'm glad we've got the bloody Atlantic Ocean in between, because the amount of nasty things I'm saying, and I don't know whether he's got some dodgy mates from his criminal past, I always felt that I'm not aware of what he did to get in prison. I imagine it was something like the Lufthansa heist, but he only did a small part, like drove a car in it. I can't see him doing any actual sticking up or robbing like that. So I don't want to besmirch his character. I feel like I've really been too nasty to old Scott. So I have to say he's the most knowledgeable guy on prog on the internet. That's without a doubt. He looks like a hobo. He's got the teeth of a male flight attendant, and he was in prison probably for robbing a airplane at an airport, like in Casino. That's what I imagine. And we are lucky that he didn't end up like Joe Pesci in a ditch. That's all I'm saying. Because however bad he is, I do have a lot of affection for Mr. Lady. But not like the sort of affection I would have for an actual lady. Not that sort of affection. Shall we move on? That was rubbish. I was looking forward to Scott's as well. I was really looking and I just cocked it up. Right, let's get some focus back into this. Come on, Andy. Focus. Right, because you've got the top three. You don't want to mess these up because these are biggies, these are, right? So at number 3, I have, of course, and I recently appeared on it, Classic Album Review. Hosted by Barry the Fisherman Robinson. Barry the Fisherman Robinson, he could be Edwardian Cornish fisherman, sat on the quayside, repairing his nets and smoking a clay pipe, and watching as some ship wrecks onto the rocky coast of the Lizard in Cornwall. And then as he sees the rum, the casks of rum spilling out onto the beach, he would put down his netting. He would make sure his little accordion thing was safe. He would run down to that beach and grab himself some good French rum. Now, you have to understand what the British are like to understand why this, the reason why I call Barry the Fisherman, right, is because there's a famous story that there was a French ship. This is true, I'm not making this up, you're not going to believe this. There was a French ship off the coast of Britain, England somewhere. I think it was Whitby or somewhere like that. And it got shipwrecked on our coast. And the crew died. But they did have a pet monkey on the ship. and the pet monkey washed up on the beach. And the people of England, being English people at that time, assumed that this monkey that had washed up on the beach was actually a Frenchman. And they took him to the town. Of course, they couldn't understand a word he was saying because he was French. He was speaking French because to us English, French sounds like this. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah, ooh, ooh. Right, that's what the French sound like to us. And they put him on trial, found him guilty of being French, which of course the punishment was to be hanged. Right? Now, what's this story got to do with Barry the Fisherman Robertson? Well, nothing really. But I think when I think of his name, I always call him, because originally it wasn't the fisherman, and I never use this one publicly, but I originally called him Barry Swiss Family Robinson, which is another story about people getting washed up on a beach and being very, resourceful and all that type of thing. Now Barry, you've got nothing to say bad about him, have you, Andy? Now, Barry... he's very... he might look like an Edwardian fisherman, but in his manner, he's much closer to the actor that played the head of the family in Swiss Family Robinson, which was Sir John Mills. And so really, I see Barry Robinson as the Sir John Mills of music YouTubing. Now, this is an honour. You know, he's probably, he doesn't really, what does he call me the fisherman for? What is he doing? It's probably like that. But now I've rooted it back to saying he's more like Sir John Mills. He's probably bursting, with, I've really blown some sunshine up his fundament. Because a proper Englishman cannot have a greater compliment than to be compared to either Kenneth Moore or Sir John Mills. Now, Barry's got the Sir John Mills thing. That's him. He's got that down, I think. So I'm going for the Kenneth Moore. Now, Barry, if you could make some sort of public post saying, I think Andy Edwards is like the Kenneth Moore of music YouTubing, then I'm just going to carry on and I won't stick the knife in. Right, and have a go about the fact that all your videos are completely scripted and every last word's been worked out. There's not the chance that you will say anything out of order or anything in any way, shape or form. You're not on the knife edge like me, skiing against the bloody, precipice of a piste, which could end you falling down into the bloody mire of cancel culture. No, because every word's considered with you, isn't it? It's like bloody poetry. So that's Barry done. Wasn't too harsh on him. Put him high on the list, though. I'm here. I ain't got a bloody script. I'm making this up as I go along. I tell you, I haven't got a script. I'm looking at the next guy now. What I'm about to say, I haven't got a clue what I'm about to say. And so this is a little bit like primal screen therapy, but instead of screaming, I'm YouTubing. And basically, the mouth starts and it just comes out. I can't help it, It's like I don't want to be horrible, but it just comes out like that. At number 2, I have this fellow. Yes! Sea of Tranquility. Now, I could come on here and I could say... Sea of Tranquility is why I've got my YouTube, because I nicked the idea off Pete Pardo, or as I call him, Pete. Pardo, my boy, is that a Chattanooga choo-choo? Right? Which is the only thing I could come up with. Pete is... he's invented the bloody top 10 YouTubing thing, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of music. He invented it. Right? And he got it right. And I'm going to tell you why he got it right now. Pete has got a massive record collection. It's huge, right? But he has something else, which is why he is able to do the YouTubing and why he's been able to get well over 100,000 subscribers, whereas I'm still, down here on 75,000 subscribers. And the reason is because he's got T-shirts for every band that has ever existed. if you went to his house, you would go there would be this huge room full of records. But then there's a room which is like the bloody Harry Potter room of requirement, where he only has to go in and think of a band, and the T-shirt is revealed to him out of the huge, vast amounts of T-shirts. Actually, it's probably more like that place where they stick the Ark of the Covenant at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Anyway, it's a vast place, you know. It's like bloody B&Q, you know. You're there for hours trying to find, you know, a decent screw. I mean, I get up in the morning and thinking, bloody hell, I really fancy a decent screw today. I haven't had a decent screw for ages, you know. And I go through my bloody box and it's all bloody full of old screws. And I think I don't want to have old screws. No. I need a decent screw. So often I'm down B&Q and I'm in there. Where are the screws? I don't know. I'm looking all over the place, back and forth, you know. Now, Pete must have, it must be like that for him getting his T-shirts. But he has got them all. So if he's doing, you know, Night Ranger, he'll have a Night Ranger T-shirt. Or if he's doing, I don't know, Automatic Man, he's going to have a bloody Automatic Man T-shirt. It doesn't matter how far. And the thing is, he covers all the bases. He covers all the bases, right? Now, this is the thing about Sea of Tranquility, right? I'm going to tell you now, as a YouTuber. I have spent a lot of time and effort and money trying to get a nice studio with lights in, some decent cameras. You know, I've got my microphone now. I'm not doing it on I've got proper audio going on. I've got the bloody computer going on here. Look, that's running at the same time, recording my voice. And, you know, I'm going to have to go home, sync that up, put all the bloody pictures in and all that type of stuff. Not for Pete Pardo. All he's had to buy is a bloody Zoom account. I've had to pay for that as well, right? So he's got a reasonable camera. He sits in front of his records, which I reckon's a green screen anyway. He sits in front of them, right? You know, he's got the dogs bloody walking about. He comes on, he talks about the weather or what he's drinking or something like this for bloody about 10 minutes. We all have to forward through that bit to get where the juice is, right? But the worst thing is, there he is, bloody putting Zoom videos up. He doesn't do anything else. It's just Zoom videos, right? And it's either genius or evil, right? He gets other people to do the work, right? So he can do about 20 videos a day, and they're all about an hour and a half long, right? He only needs about 4 people watching them all the way through, and he's making himself bloody vast amounts of money, which I don't think he needs, because again, he is a rich man. I think the only people that aren't rich on this bloody list is me and Scott. So I'm gonna get in touch with Scott and say, you know, we're the poor, you know, we're the bloody shite end of the YouTube things when it comes to you know, the size of our houses, and you know, I mean, look at poor old Scott. I do feel sorry for him. All he's got as a set is the corner of the room that his wife will let him have. He's been able to put about 9 albums behind him, and he's got some bloody, what is it, Bride of Chucky or something like that behind him, or whatever it is. What the hell's that there for, Scott? Not Pete. He just goes, right, chaps, I ain't going to pay you, but do you want to come on my channel and talk about this band that I know nothing about, you know? And that's what he does. And they both come on, and they're all pleased to come on because they're getting on Sea of Tranquility. And then they sit there doing all the work for Pete. And what does he do? Now, I didn't want to be too harsh on him because, you know, his dad died recently, and he put a video up like that, you know, so he's probably not in the best space, and I do wish you, you know, my thoughts are with you, Pete. But it doesn't mean I'm going to give up on bloody putting the knife in. Right, we're at the number 1 now. Of course, here we are at number 1. Yes, Rick Beato, or as I call him, the Pope. Why do I call him the Pope? Not because he's like bloody religious, okay? He's not religious at all. At least I don't think he is. But the reason I put him on was he did me a big favour, put me on, you know, his channel and all that bit, right? But when I got there, I didn't appreciate being made to kiss his ring. I wasn't happy with that. And yet I felt, because, I mean, this bloke's 100 times bigger than anybody else on this channel. And so, when I arrived at Abbey Road and I was told about what I was have to do to get the interview, and that everyone had done, I said, no, they haven't done this, have they? Pat Metheny had to kiss his ring. Yes, Pat did it. Keith Jarrett didn't do it. He said he let Keith Jarrett off. But everyone else has had to do it. Sting's done it. Everybody had to kiss his ring. And so when I found out this was the prerequisite to get on his channel, I changed my original name for him, which was The Godfather. Because, of course, Mr. Beato, I think he's of Italian origin. So us British people just assume he must be in organised crime if he is. I know it's prejudiced. I can't help it. What do I know of Italian people? What I know about Italian people, I learned from the Cornetto adverts from the 1980s. And just one Cornetto, that advert, and The Godfather and all that bit. That's all I know. And it's interesting because there was a mafia boss that was called the Pope. Now, why would I be biting the hand that feeds me, actually, not just sticking the knife in? It's because Rick said that I run a comedy channel, and I think this is not fair. I said it earlier. It's not. Look what I've got here. This is like a comedian's drum kit. No. Does this look like a comedian's setup now? And then I've got all my guitars and all this going on here. Look at it, it's all over the place. Why do you think I've got all this? Has Joe Pasquale got all this? No. Right, the idea that I'm a comedian is absolutely ridiculous. And I thought I'd prove it there by actually putting a joke in. I thought of one joke before I got here. And what happened when I tried to deliver it? It went completely wrong. I'm not competent enough to be a comedian. This is actually it. If you're laughing at this, right, that's not fair. You're laughing at me, right? Because this is just it. I have told you the truth. On the next video, I'll go up and bloody kiss the ring of all the bloody artists that I'm talking about, like everybody else, and it'll be like a normal video. No. Now, of course, as I get to number one, I have to make a confession at the end of this video, and it's this. This is not my top 10 worst YouTubers. This is the top 10 best YouTubers. Yes! The top 10 best music YouTubers. These are my favourite ones. These are the ones I watch. There's other guys that are amazing. There's a few I watch as well. They're really great. But if I just look at the views of who I watch on YouTube, it's this 10. These are my favourite ones. Now, when I had my little trouble a week ago, and I got hacked and I went down, Mary Spender and Adam Neely didn't bloody help me at all. They didn't. I got no thanks from them. So keep them out of it. All the stuff I said about them is true. But the rest of them, Martin, Jim, Danny, Phil, Scott, Barry, Pete, Rick, all were behind me. And I've been told that you're not supposed to talk about YouTube on YouTube, and I thought I cannot censor myself. This is a problem, and I can't help but have felt very. It's changed my attitude towards YouTubing, because I realise that even though we live very far away and we don't meet up down the pub, there is a community there, and everybody watches everybody else. Even Rick Beato he watches everybody. Everybody watches everybody. And the amount of support that I got, and kind words, and phone calls, and we'll sort you out. Some of the people like Jim, who I don't know, Jim Newstead, he still emailed me and said, I will use my channel as best I can if you go down. And I got through that week because I thought, I'm not in the same boat if I lose my channel, because these guys are going to go out and say, this is Andy's new channel, and I'll be able to get back on track. Now, I really did this video because I wanted to say something that really does come from the heart. So if you haven't guessed, all of that was nonsense. I was just pulling their legs. I'm British, and I'm an ex-musician, and I played in bands for many years, and I would go on tour. And men, especially men who play in bands, we have a banter where we will roast, I think is the American term. We will roast the other members in that band. And to be able to survive in that world, I have been able to learn to roast with the best of them. Many of my friends who are also experienced musicians could come on and do exactly what I do all day long, right? The roasting is not real. It's just silliness. Now, there could be an element of truth in there, but a lot of the things that I've poked fun at on this video is actually what makes these channels so successful. The whole secret of YouTubing, I believe, is to become the brand of you and to do your thing, not to copy anybody else, to develop your whole thing, whether it's you're the nicest or the most knowledgeable or the most suave, you know, whatever it is. You just by being yourself and opening yourself up to the love that is out there, because a lot of time we talk about hate and all this type of stuff, but there is a lot of love out there, and I felt it, and it got me through that week. It got me through thinking I'm not going to fly like the little spider all the way down the bloody water spout to the bottom and have to do the creepy crawling back up again. I'm not going to have to do that not because I got loads of subscribers, not because I got loads of views, but because there's people out there who are nice and looking out for you, who you have built a rapport with, even if it's just a part of being this community, which is a wonderful community. And people who become successful as music YouTubers do not get the respect of the music industry. They are not seen as being equal to someone who's in a band or working in a label or running a venue, you know, whose money and or because some of these guys aren't doing it for the money. They're doing it because they love it, or they've got a community that they've built around them. So this is a celebration of music YouTube, and it's a wonderful thing. And I just want to thank all the people who supported me. And I want to tell you that the link to every single guy is in the link down below. No links to my stuff. I am not going to say like and subscribe to my channel. Go if you don't know any of these guys. These are the YouTubers I watch. If you like the music I talk about here, please go and check everybody out on this list, because that's it. And that's what I wanted to do. I have now done it. Thank you for watching this video. It's a big thank you. I thought, how can I thank them? And I thought maybe I should immortalise them in an Edwards roast, you know. So an actual Edwards roast cooked by me on a Sunday, you don't want to have that. That'd be bloody awful. You know, I do like a good roast, though. I do like, you know, fried potatoes and a bit of roast beef, some mustard or maybe even horseradish sauce. Yes. Roast beef.